Russia has suggested it may be open to holding further talks with the United States as part of attempts to de-escalate the crisis in Ukraine. The Kremlin described some of Washington's proposals as a starting point for a serious conversation, but it warned its main security concerns had not been properly addressed. Moderna has started trials for a COVID booster dose it has developed specifically to target the Omicron variant. The drug giant says that while a third shot of its original COVID vaccine worked, protection declined 6 months after administration. And President Biden has confirmed that he will make an African-American woman his first nomination to the Supreme Court. Mr. Biden made the announcement at the White House as he appeared alongside the liberal Justice Stephen Breyer, who is retiring and will step down at the end of June.
Russian officials consider a U.S. written answer to Russian demands over Ukraine. U.S. diplomats said the document offers no compromise to Russia. In Japan, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida confirms a South Korean military report that North Korea again launched 2 missiles. He called the North's repeated launches regrettable. Reports say U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer plans to announce his retirement. And in Brussels, a German survivor of the killing of Jews in Europe during World War II speaks to the EU Parliament to mark International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
We begin this hour with North Korea. The country's media reported that Pyongyang conducted tests of tactical guided missiles and long-range cruise missiles this week. The ruling Workers' Party newspaper Donon Shimun said on Friday that the Academy of National Defense Science test-fired tactical guided missiles on the previous day. The article says 2 tactical guided missiles precisely hit the target island. It also says Pyongyang conducted the test firing of a long-range cruise missile system on Tuesday and that 2 missiles hit the target island 1,800 kilometers away. Japanese Defense Minister Kishi Nobuo offered an analysis of Thursday's launches.
We estimate that the missiles flew at an extremely low altitude over a short distance. No damage to Japan's territory or exclusive economic zone has been confirmed.
North Korea has conducted frequent tests this year. Thursday's firing is the 6th. Donon Shimun also reports that leader Kim Jong-un visited a munitions factory that produces important weapons systems accompanied by his sister Kim Yo-jong and others. It did not specify the factory's location, but the newspaper reported that Kim has ordered a further ramping up of the country's military capability. Police have arrested a man who was holed up in his house with a rifle for 11 hours in Saitama Prefecture near Tokyo after taking a doctor hostage. The 44-year-old doctor is the man's family physician and is reported to have no vital signs. Police say the hostage taker is a 66-year-old man named Watanabe Hiroshi. Police say 3 medical workers visited Watanabe's home on Thursday night to make a condolence call after his family member had passed away. During the visit, a male nurse in his 40s was shot. A male caregiver in his 30s was hit with pepper spray. The nurse was taken to a hospital and is reported to be conscious but in serious condition. The caregiver managed to flee after being pepper sprayed. Police stormed the house at around 8 a.m. and took Watanabe into custody. His motive is not known.
I never imagined things like this would happen around here. I'm relieved.
He was like an ordinary neighbor. Hard to believe a man like that would do things like this.
Because of the standoff, authorities evacuated local residents and closed nearby elementary and junior high schools for the day. Turning to the coronavirus situation here in Japan, the government is thinking about cutting the self-quarantine period for people who have been in close contact with confirmed Omicron cases. Japan's Prime Minister made the remarks on Thursday. He said the government is trying to shorten the period from the current 10 days to 7 or 8. Officials want to make sure most social activities can continue amid the recent case surge. The government is expected to make a decision as early as Friday. Kishida also met with ministers to discuss the shortage of antigen test kits at medical institutions because of this infection spike. The government will ask wholesalers and manufacturers to prioritize the kits for facilities that test people with symptoms and public health centers.
The measure will be in place for a while until the supply and demand situation improves. We hope people will understand this.
Meanwhile, the government is also planning to speed up the booster rollout. Only about 20% of people eligible for a third dose have received them so far. Officials are urging people to get the shots as soon as possible, rather than waiting to choose a particular vaccine. There were nearly 80,000 new cases across Japan on Thursday, breaking the record for the third straight day. People across England saw the coronavirus Omicron variant drive a surge in cases. They were forced to wear masks and prove in some places they've been vaccinated, measures they call Plan B. But cases have fallen, so they're going back to Plan A, learning to live with the virus. As the year began, authorities were reporting more than 200,000 infections a day. But they've seen cases drop to half that. So they'll no longer require masks in public or COVID passports to get into large venues.
We must learn to live with COVID in the same way that we've learned to live with flu.
Masks are still mandatory on the London Underground and on buses, and some retailers are asking customers to keep them on. But the Prime Minister plans to lift more restrictions, including self-isolation for those who test positive.
The government has acknowledged that this disease will stay within the UK, and they have the systems in place to deal with it in a controlled manner.
Authorities across the UK have reported more than 150,000 deaths from COVID. But they say hospital admissions have stabilized, and they're moving into what they call the next chapter. Residents of the Indian capital, New Delhi, have faced a curfew the past few weekends to combat the spread. But they've seen cases drop, so restrictions are being relaxed. The local government said on Thursday it will also ease other antivirus rules, allowing restaurants to resume eat-in service at 50% capacity. There will be no daytime curfew during weekends, but a nighttime curfew remains in place from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. 7 days a week. The current restrictions took effect on January 8th in response to the rapid spread of infection across India late last year, primarily in urban areas. But the daily tallies of new cases in New Delhi started falling in late January, and the occupancy rate for COVID-19 hospital beds had stayed under 20%. Even so, India has recorded more than 200,000 new cases nationwide each day recently, and infection hotspots are shifting from urban to rural areas. The European Union says it has launched a case at the World Trade Organization against China over its discriminatory trade practices against Lithuania. The EU said in an announcement on Thursday that China's actions appear to be illegal under WTO rules. China has been increasing pressure on Lithuania since the Baltic nation allowed Taiwan to open a representative office under its own name in November. EU says China has significantly restricted trade with Lithuania since December and been pressuring EU companies that export to China not to use Lithuanian content.
These measures are a threat to the integrity of the EU single market. They affect the intra-EU trade and EU supply chains, and they have a negative effect on EU industry. This is why we are stepping forward to defend EU's rights.
The European Commission announced last month a set of measures to counter what it calls economic coercion by third countries. They include tariff hikes and trade restrictions. The executive vice president has called for the measures to be swiftly approved by EU member states and the European Parliament so they can be implemented soon. Malaysia's AirAsia Group is changing its name. It is expanding into other sectors as the coronavirus pandemic drags down demand for global air travel. It held a special shareholders meeting on Thursday, where it was decided the group will be known as Capital A. Its low-cost carrier will continue as AirAsia, and other companies in the group will maintain their names. The company plans to strengthen other business, such as its ride-hailing app and food delivery service. The group posted a loss of about $520 million for the first 3 quarters of last year due to tough coronavirus travel restrictions. An NHK survey finds that a majority of Japan's major companies believe the country can become carbon neutral by 2050. The Japanese government has set that year as a target for achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions. NHK quizzed 100 firms from December 24th to January 14th. On a multiple choice questionnaire, 6 agrees that carbon neutrality will be achievable by 2050 without major hurdles. 57 said it will be possible, but not easy. 11 were more pessimistic, saying the goal will be difficult to achieve. The survey also asked about the impact of accelerating moves toward decarbonization. 75 of the companies said more technical innovation will be required. 52 believed consumers have become more environmentally aware. 36 said the use of renewable energy and eco-friendly materials has led to higher costs. Some firms pointed to positive trends. One example is the view that decarbonization technology offers new business opportunities. Now let's check in with our meteorologist Tietsi Monare for the latest in world weather. So people in Aomori Prefecture in northern Japan woke up to heavy snow and cold weather. So Tietsi, how much snow are we talking about?
Yeah, quite a lot of snow. You'll be impressed by these numbers. So they saw the January record about 28 centimeters in just 6 hours in Goshogawara. And another fun fact there, the snowfall is standing at about 109 centimeters. That's what 1 meter of snowfall right now, and almost twice the amount that they usually use to. 2 weather systems are at play, and they're going to be bringing some more snowfall towards Hokkaido and that Tohoku region of Japan. Otherwise, it's going to get slightly warmer and clearer for those in the Pacific side of western and central Japan. As conditions improve, temperatures will also improve. You'll see about 10 degrees towards Tokyo and Fukuoka at about 12, sunny skies, and slightly warmer than usual along those parts of Japan. And then towards northern China, you'll be seeing cooler conditions still remaining. It's been like this for about 4 or 5 days now, where Beijing just struggles between 2 and 3 degrees, and sunny skies continuing along those parts, and rainy and wet weather is expected towards the southern part of China. Towards the northern part of Australia, once again, heavy rainfall. This has been persisting for the last 2 or 3 days. So we should expect possibilities of disruptions just along the northern coastal cities there. Temperatures for Melbourne, though, 29 degrees, and it is getting slightly warmer along the southern parts. And then as we cross over towards the United States now, also a very big storm is sort of brewing right across the Atlantic Ocean there. It will be bringing some heavy snowfall, also possibilities of showers to dominate parts of southern Massachusetts, where they could see up to 56 centimeters of snow by the weekend. You can just look at the winds that are also coming in towards that northeastern part of the United States there. Do expect just around 112 kilometers per hour of winds, and your conditions will also be snowy, quite chilly, cold weather coming up for New York, 3 degrees. And when you cross over towards Canada as well, you can see this dark blue shade here. That's talking about the cold weather that's coming in through another winter storm that is expected to hit over the next couple of hours or so. Winnipeg at about minus 11 degrees. Stay warm at all times and have a great day.